Early October. Let's take a look. I think it's going to be on the 3rd or the 10th. It's got to be the 10th, right? Why not the 3rd? Because you have to take whatever they say and push it back as long as possible. That's just 14. You would think it would be on the 3rd, right? They said early October. Makes sense. No. Early October is the first 2 weeks. Mid-October is the 2nd week and the 3rd week. And late October is always the last. New story. Man, I'm going to be real with you guys. I stopped paying attention to the story in Endwalker on the last patch. It just was so boring, man. It just dragged ass. I really enjoyed Endwalker's story, actually. And I feel like I would enjoy other expansions, too. Like, I already know I'd like Shadowbringers, just because I like Emmett. You know, I'm also an Emmett simp. And I think I'd like Heaven's Ward, too. Like, I think Endwalker overall was a decent expansion. I don't think it was bad. It had pretty much everything in it, right? Except for, like, a Boja area. Like, it was decent. I didn't think it was bad. The biggest thing for me actually wasn't about Boja. The biggest thing for me was how, like, barely any of the jobs changed. The biggest thing for me was, like, Dark Knight didn't really change. Gunbreaker changed for the worse. Paladin changes were definitely good, but it only took like the whole fucking expansion for them to get that way. And then Warrior didn't change at all. Like all of the jobs are so samey now. I mean, it's a good and bad thing. It makes balancing easier, but it also means that like you need to make the rotations like more interesting or something, man. New challenges, Myths of the Realm. Yo, this looks sick. This looks awesome. I am excited for this. I'm going to do this on patch day. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Lunar Subterrane. This looks really awesome too, man. Like, look how cool this looks. The environment in here looks awesome. The Abyssal Fracture. So this is the trial. The Dread Void Sends Aromas, driven by Ozja's longing to return home, is now poised to break the barrier between worlds. So the Warrior of Light stands fast against the darkness, a flickering beacon of hope. But should they fail, the 13th's deliverance will prove the source's destruction. And then, yo, who's excited for... Yo, this patch, this patch looks pretty good. Yo, who's excited for this shit? Bruh. This is going to be sick, dude. I mean, the patch looks good, man. It does. I mean, it's not the best. But, I mean, it's good. So, you got Thornton Unreal. Okay, a new Primal. So, that's kind of cool. This new dungeon or whatever. You know, I mean, this looks cool. This is a Criterion, is it? No, this is just a new dungeon, right? So, I mean, it looks cool, but it's, you know, going to be easy just like every other dungeon. But this looks awesome. Like, this picture right here looks badass. And then this is just story. So, like, I mean, this is good. Yeah, and then like, trial players are going to be able to do ultimates. Dude, that's going to be sick. Dude, they're going to have access to every portion of the game. Except for, like, Criterion, but who gives a fuck about that shit? Can't they already do Uwu and UCOB? No, I don't think so. Nah, because it's in Stormblood, right? Stormblood, in my opinion, was the best expansion. It had the best raids. It had the best 24-man. It had Eureka. It had the Palace of the Dead stuff. The only thing in the expansion that I didn't like was well, not accounting the story, because I don't give a shit about the story. I mean, I don't I don't base an expansion off of the story. But the only thing I didn't like were the trials, were the primals. Nah, I don't base the expansion off of the story, because you can only do the story once. This game is meant to be played over and over and over and over and over again. All of this stuff in the game, man, is supposed to be repeatable. Because if it's not repeatable, you do it once and there's no reason to do it again. Like, once you clear the raid tier, there's no reason to do it again. Unless you do Criterion or an ultimate. But who the fuck gives a shit about Criterion? You know what I mean? Like, so basically what I'm trying to say here is that a lot of the reason I still play Final Fantasy is because of you guys. So I play with you guys and I play with friends. This game just doesn't have enough to keep you sub to it. For me. Because, like, all of this really simple, easy shit that they put in, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think this dungeon looks really cool, but this is such a waste of potential, because this dungeon could probably be badass, but instead they're going to make it brain dead easy to cater to casuals, and that's fine. That's fine. But they don't give, like, basically they give a vast majority of their content is so that anybody can do it. And while that's good, and I'm not saying that they should take it away, they just need to add more on stuff that, this is going to sound mean, but not everybody can do. Yeah, they need to add some stuff that is a little harder, that not everybody can do it. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody. I'm not saying they need to make every fight like an ultimate. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that we've had 4 turns of a raid tier for like 10 fucking years. Like 10 years, man. And then on the last fight, they split the fight into 2. So now there's 2 fights. So it's like, there's kind of like 4.5, but you don't even get loot for one of them. And the loot system already sucks in this game. So it's like, you have to do a fight that is arguably arguably harder than the quote unquote hardest fight, and you don't get any loot for it. I'm just saying that this game is amazing, and it's 10 out of 10 for like newer players and people that have played the game for like a year or 2 years. But after like, I don't know, the second year, I don't know, you guys tell me. You got to remember, my perspective on this game is a lot different, okay? Are there any people in the chat that have played for like 2 or 3 years and you already know the patterns, you're already running out of stuff to do? Now, if you're not one of those players, if you still find stuff to do, then that's awesome, man. Like that is awesome. But eventually, you're going to be in this spot, man, where you've done everything in the game and you realize they really don't add much content to this game. Like, I know that sounds crazy, right? Because look, you got this dungeon here, you got this 24-man, you got the new story, you got this new trial, and you got the Unreal. And I know that sounds crazy that they don't add very much. Okay, well, this has already been in the game before. Now it's fine because this content is supposed to be for people that haven't experienced it. So like, I'm sure there's a lot of you in chat that have never done this when it was current, right? Because you just weren't playing in Heaven's Ward. You know what I mean? This fight in Heaven's Ward, this was one of the best trials they've ever made. This one right here. So you guys are going to be able to experience one of the best trials ever made in this game. Like, this is so fucking cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is awesome. But here's the problem. There's no reason to do this after the first time. I mean, because the Fox rewards suck. Most of them suck, and you can sell them anyway. So you can actually get this shit and not even fucking do it. And then there's this. There's no reason to do this at all, actually, unless you just want to experience it, because you already know it's going to drop a weapon that's going to be fucking useless. This dungeon, like I said, I think this dungeon looks cool. Like, just based on this picture, I think it looks awesome. Kind of reminds me of the final levels of Palace of the Dead, right? But it's going to be easy as fuck. I can already tell you this, that if I go in here on my warrior alone, I can just do the entire dungeon. What does it matter? You could do this with 4 DPS, man. You know, what does it matter? You know, and this, they put so much work into this awesome, you know, like I mean, look at this, dude. This looks amazing. At least I think so. But you do this one time. Like, that's it. Like, that's the problem that this game's had. You do it like one time and then you don't have to give a shit. That's it. You don't even have to do it the one time. That's the problem. Look, guys, you know, I understand people do this stuff for glamour and, you know, this for glamour. Okay. So you do it a couple times. You're coming out with this major patch, because this is a major patch. And this major patch, you can do everything in it in 2 days, 1 day, not even a day. Like, for me, I'm going to do all of this shit in like fucking 5 hours or whatever. The longest it's going to take is going to be however long it takes to kill the primal, which is going to be what, 2 lockouts max? We'll say 3 lockouts for the primal. And then this is a well, okay. If I go in with you guys, this is going to take longer than the primal probably. But see, that's my point though. A lot of this content, man, and it kind of makes me feel bad for the developers a little bit, because they put so much work into this stuff and it's not. Basically, I don't think that it lasts as long as it should. I have a lot of respect for this game and the developers, man. Like, this is my favorite game, like, of all time. It's just because I've played it for so long, and I've said this for years and years and years, but this game is the game that always could have been better than what it is. It could be better. Over the years, they've added stuff. They added Boja. They added large-scale content. They added Criterion. They added the Unreal. You know, they've added stuff, but the issue is it just takes so fucking long, man. It takes so long. Just want to make normal and savage version of every piece of content, including dungeons and alliance raids, and actually have rewards, unlike Criterion. The reward system in Final Fantasy XIV has always been absolute fucking abysmal. Like, back in the day, the loot system used to have a couple better things that they actually took away. So like, back in the day, trials would drop accessories in addition to weapons. Well, some would drop weapons, some would drop accessories. The accessories were BIS a couple times. Why can't this primal drop an accessory that is equivalent to this item level? I don't understand. Why can't this new piece of content that is supposed to be catch-up content, why can't it drop a raid ring? That's the whole point. Like, it just perplexes me that you have the raid and it's like a set item level, and then every piece of content that comes out after the raid that is supposed to help you with the raid is lower item level. I don't understand it. By the time that the new content comes out that's supposed to help you with the raid tier is already deader than dead. Basically, you would have more people do this trial if it dropped a BIS. You would have more people do this 24-man if it dropped BIS accessories. This would also be amazing for alts. So even if you had... Jesus, man. I've already said all this, man. I've been saying this for years, man. Yeah, okay, anyway. I don't want to loop too much. So I'm just going to tell you things that I hope that is in this patch that's not going to be. I hope that this gear is equivalent to raid gear because it'll help you for 2 ways. Well, it'll help you for more. I'm just going to list some. It's going to help you for alts. Here's the second thing. It's going to help combat the garbage awful tome cap. Another thing is it's going to help new players get access to the raid. Think about this. You have a greater chance of getting more raid pieces than you do like this piece, right? Because you can only get one of these pieces per week. But in the raid, let's say you clear the first turn and you get lucky. You can get 2 to 3 pieces, 4, you know, whatever. So the fact that you can only get one of these per week, this should be raid equivalent. It'll also help you with Criterion if you're going to do that. So there's multiple ways. There's literally no downside to this gear not being raid equivalent. Not 5 item levels lower, not 2 item levels lower, literally raid equivalent. This should give you raid equivalent gear because at this point in the patch cycle, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This should be raining raid gear, okay? For those of you that have raided, it's already hard enough to get gear. Even if you're in a fucking static, it's hard enough to get gear because the gearing in this game is so slow. So that's what they should do with this. With this, the last time we asked for Savage Dungeons, they gave us Criterion. So I'm hesitant to say, just make Expert harder. Okay, that's it. Just literally make Expert just a little harder, okay? Or, you know what? Keep it the same. Just make a harder version that you can upgrade to. You know what they should do, actually? They should give you 2 versions. The normal Expert and the Savage Expert. And the Savage Expert should give you like 4 times the amount of tomes. I'd fucking do that just for the tomes. All right, anyway, this. Primal should stop dropping weapons. Just stop it. Stop dropping weapons. Or, if you're going to drop a weapon, that can be fine. But drop a BIS accessory. You know, drop a ring, a necklace, drop the whole fucking loot table. Just BIS accessories, man. They don't have to be BIS, but drop a raid equivalent accessory. That's all I'm saying. Just drop it. They used to do it in the past. It was amazing. They should do it again. All of the benefits of doing this are the same as the benefits I mentioned above. And there's no downside to you doing this. I'm just getting it all out of my system, okay? This, I feel like you should be able to farm fox leaves. Why not? Or if for some reason people have an issue with that, I don't know, give this another reason to do more than once a week. Give Unreal a reason. It doesn't have to be an important reason. Maybe like every time you clear an Unreal, you get like 10 leaves or something. And all this is fine. This is fine. Free trial, starter edition expansion. All this is fine. Okay, there. I got it all out of my system. I talked about it. As you can tell, I've talked about it before. See, you guys are dumb. You guys want these changes, but when I talk about these changes, all you guys do is just spam the stupidest shit in the chat. You know why I think that you spam stupid shit in the chat? It's because you like to impress each other. You like to make each other laugh. Okay? You like to see which one of you can spam the dumber thing. And I know some of you spam this shit because people on YouTube see it. You know, I've had people ask about the chat lore before. I've had people like hesitantly ask, what's wind bins?